Hey guys, we've got one question to answer today, and it is the Shakespearean question, to open or not to open. So let me break this down into 4 chunks for you. They're going to be bite-sized. First thing is going to be a 101 crash course on coaching. On coaching, if you want to be coached, to see progress on a goal, to accomplish or achieve something, you're going to need 3 things. 1, you're going to need a goal. You need a vision of what you're really after, or maybe even a vision of what you don't want. 2, you're going to need a plan. Okay? That's normally pretty simple. People have no problem finding fitness advice and strategies out there. Plenty of them. The third one, big piece that misses a lot of the time, is accountability to the plan. So if I say, hey, I want you to eat a solid breakfast and drink some water every morning, and then I walk away and I never see you again, do I expect that to work? Not very much. But if I say, hey, I want you to eat a solid breakfast and water tomorrow morning, I'll call you around noon. I'll ask you what you had and what you thought. Sound good? How much more likely are you going to do that, especially if you hired me as your coach, right? So accountability to the plan is huge. These are 3 tools that need to be in place for you to receive world-class coaching in the long term on change. Now, let's talk about number 2, progress. So progress on that goal. How will you know you made progress on your goal? Well, you have to measure. Because what you measure is going to get tracked. And what gets tracked gets managed. And what gets managed gets changed. So measure, we can see if there's going to be any change happening. And that helps me as a coach make sure that these 3 things are in line, right? And this is just a circular process of coaching. So you can take that, take a picture, and a $1 million lesson right there. But here's the thing. Tools for me to give these to you. Well, if I want something to measure, the CrossFit Open might be perfect for that, because you're going to get a ranking. There's a scoreboard. There's a leaderboard. You'll have that. And even if you don't partake in like the leaderboard experience, you're going to know what your physical capacity looks like when you do the CrossFit Open. Last year I did step-ups. This year I did my first box jump. Huge progress. You actually measured what was different this time, and you can see change happen, right? Last year I did it and it felt miserable. This year I did it, even though I didn't like track the leaderboard and stuff, I felt so much better, and I actually got a pull up because I was light enough. Hell yeah. That's the stuff we're after. So CrossFit Open, great tool. These 3 things. Goal. Well, if you do the CrossFit Open and you come back next year, you probably don't want to feel worse than you did this year on your first one. So we've got something that we want to do better in. It gives us something 364 days from now that we're going to work towards. Plan, yeah, come to CrossFit 3 to 5 days per week, do constantly varied functional movement, high intensity, eat meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little or no sugar. Absolutely a great plan. So that works too. It helps us enact that. We've got a reason. And now accountability to the plan. Well, if you came in and you did the CrossFit Open, and you know in 364 days, you're going to be doing it again. Whether you are prepared or not, it's coming up. You're probably going to prepare for it. So we have some accountability to the plan. And of course, there's all kinds of magic that happens inside of CrossFit Affiliates as well too, that really tie all of these things together way more beautifully and elegantly than I can put on a whiteboard, right? So the CrossFit Open, great tool for coaching. Coaching 101 done. Now here's what you all came for. And I erase this because I know me. I'm going to need a lot of room. All right. So let's talk about the major question for a lot of people in CrossFit. First time doing the Open is not why should I, but a lot of people in their mind is why I'm not going to do it, why I'm scared to do it. Totally get it. All of the why nots go back to one core emotion. It's fear, right? One of the tools I use when I coach people and I meet them for the first time is called 5 to 7 layers of why. You come in and say something like, I want to lose weight. And I'm like, great, why do you want to lose weight? And you say, so I can be healthier. I'm like, great, why do you want to be healthier? And you're like, well, because I'll live longer. I'm like, great, why do you want to live longer? And you get the idea, and I become pretty annoying. But I finally break them down, and at the end, and it's usually about 5, some people it's 7, they're a little bit tougher nut to crack. And it's something like, I don't want to suffer from type 2 diabetes like my parents did. And more importantly, I will not let my children watch that happen too. That's a why. There's a great quote, and I'm going to butcher it here, but it's something like, anyhow can be accomplished or anyhow can be persevered through if you have a strong enough why, right? So why is pretty important, but let's look at why not. Fear's the core emotion that this comes from. Let me give you the top 4 things that, or the top 4 fears people have when they think of, well, I don't want to do CrossFit, don't do CrossFit Open, or don't do a new fitness thing, right? So I'm going to look silly. Totally understandable, you're new to this. Well, that means I'm not good. Absolutely understand. And then that might mean that, I'm spelling that wrong, I'm not enough. Jock, okay? Easy. And now, if I'm not enough, well, I'm not going to be liked or not accepted. I'm going to feel judged. How do I know this? Well, 10 years, these are the 4 most common ones. And also, I suffer from them too. Absolutely. Not all the time, but I totally do. I'm a human. So think of fear like this. Some fear is good. Most fear is not. If you see Smokey the Bear on television, on a commercial, it doesn't make a lot of sense to get scared. But if you meet Smokey the Bear in person, pretty intense. Pretty good reason to get scared, right? A little bit different situation. So those are our top 4 things that you're going to be thinking of why I don't want to do it. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you were in this gym, or you're affiliated if you're watching this from somewhere else, and you looked at somebody and you're like, they're silly. They look ridiculous. They're not any good because they're not good in here. They're not good at all. They're definitely not enough as they are as a human being. They have like no value. Or like, I don't like that guy, that girl, based on their inability to do thrusters to full depth. Ugh. When was the last time you did any of that? Be real. Exactly. In fact, I'm going to make a prediction that if you're like me, and like most of us doing this, you were probably thinking about what you were doing, and you were focusing on what you were working on. And maybe even half of that was taken up with stuff like this until you overcome it. So, absolutely understandable, but you got to think like, okay, well, what do I do with this stuff? All right, so stay with me. How many of you have seen this dress? And what color is it? Is it white and gold or is it blue and black? Anyone remember this thing? Came on TV and like a lot of people saw white and gold. I did. And a lot of other people saw blue and black. It was the same photo, but we saw different stuff, right? The reason I ask this is I wonder if you've considered that there's maybe 2 versions of you. Like if 2 people who are completely different can look at the exact same thing and get a different story as to what it is, are there 2 different versions of you? Have you ever heard of like 2 wolves inside? It's a Native American folklore about there's 2 wolves inside of you, one good, one evil. Whichever one you feed is going to win, right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have multiple personality disorder, but what I am suggesting is someone who wakes up in the morning and says, life is a gift, and I'm so lucky. And they say that over and over and over and over again, is going to look at life completely different than someone who wakes up and says, life is a battle, and I got to fight it. Life is awful, and I have to withstand it. Same people or different people, different stories determine how you're going to look at something. So all I'm suggesting is that you're going to wear different glasses at different times. And so let's look at this as if you weren't coming from fear and you're coming from a place of excitement. Much excite. Or growth. Or curiosity even. And so what are some things that this person would look at the CrossFit Open and say that they could find or come across? Maybe they look at that and say, man, I would grow a whole lot. I would become better. Realistic. I would get some expansion. I would learn skills. Learn some new skills. And you know what? That fearful part of me might even be surprised with a good time. right? I might even support someone else. So let me ask you a question. Have you, since walking into this affiliate or another affiliate, experienced growth? Have you gotten better? Have you learned some new skills? Have you had a good time? And have you supported someone else or received some support yourself? Be real. Make sense? Here's the crux. The CrossFit Open, like many things, beep, is the same thing. You've just got two different versions of you. We're going to give up trying to spell it. You got two different versions of you. Some eyes looking that way, some eyes looking that way. That's the only difference here. So if you've got two versions of you looking at the exact same thing, you're going to get a different feeling about it. So that's the only difference. Which part of you is running the show? That's my question for you. So let's think back and recap it all. Just a quick little statement and even an exercise for you. I want you to go back to your very first day at a CrossFit affiliate, here at my affiliate, wherever you were, before you really got where you are now. And so when you think back to that first day, I want you to think of all the progress you've made. I want you to think of all the growth that you've had. I want you to think of that person then versus who you are now, and how much more well-equipped you are for life now. And I want you to think of maybe a time where you supported someone else, or you received some support you didn't expect, or maybe you made some great friends, or maybe you just surprised yourself and had a great time. Think back to that, and think back to now. This version of you that's maybe a little bit more excited and curious now, there's only one question you got to ask. Can I do this? So can you do this? See you there. What's up, David?